welcome along to Cubecast with your host, me, Mike, that's who. Started late this morning, forgot to mute my mic while the intro was playing. I don't think I said anything. I hope I wasn't talking to myself. I would believe it if it happened. Hello James Melby, what's up Thomas? What's up Non-Stop Cubing, you narc? He's late! Yeah. What's up Israel? What's up David? Jake? Cursed Cubing. Lovely to have you here. What up Niv? Welcome along. Hello Ernest. Lovely to have you here everyone. Okay, it's Friday where I am anyway. It's Friday the 15th of November. It's the 14th of November in the UK. If that's where you are, or if you're in America, that's the 14th as well. It's my little brother's birthday. Happy birthday to my little brother. I say little brother, he's 39 now. Nearly 40 there, little man. Nearly 40. Oh, my tea bag. Hold on, I'm brewing a cup of Lady Grey tea. Not just Earl Grey, Lady Grey. That's how I roll, because it's even nicer. What's up, Ephemica? Lovely to have you here. Welcome along. All right, here's what we are going to be doing today on the show. We are going to be looking at a whole bunch of stuff, actually. We need to address the tier list. The tier list, I did a poor job because I ran out of time last week of promoting the tier list forum where you can submit your videos for me to rank on my tier list. So we're going to talk about that again so I can make a proper video out of it. The X-Man Design 7x7, we are going to talk about that. Something that I saw a while back and I didn't actually talk about, which I really meant to talk about, was the rumored GAN Smart SKEWB. It is a couple of weeks old now, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But I think I planned to talk about it, and then it just got bumped off the show because we ran out of time. Because that happened. So I want to have a look at the Smart SKEWB from GAN. We've got a little collection, a little bouquet of goofy hardware news to look about. There's a very questionable cube up on the cubicle. We're going to look at the Qi M Pro V2. We're going to look at how Dian Sheng have officially lost it with their Google series. It's cursed. And then we're going to have Manu on. Manu Singal is his last name. Shingal. Manu or Manu. I'm also going to find that out. I was on the +3 podcast this week with Manu and... dang it, I should have written this down. The other two that have names. And I forgot. I feel so bad. But anyway, I was on with Manu. We realized we have a lot of opinions in common about pro cubing. So I was just like, hey, come on my podcast this week and we'll just yap about that. So if you're expecting a big debate, that's not going to happen because Manu and I are pretty well aligned on what we're talking about with pro cubing. If Dylan Miller shows up in the chat, maybe I'll throw him into the conversation as well. You know, you never know. I'm also going to talk about cubing content on YouTube with Manu as well, because it's something we're both kind of into. We both love yapping about, and that's the thing. And I guess we'll just ask Manu to give us a bit of a rundown on who the fresh hell is he. You know, who is this person? If you don't know, let's find out. Because I went quite bio-heavy when I appeared on the +3 podcast the other day, which I think is out tomorrow. It's out on Friday, American time. It's out on Saturday, New Zealand time. What's up, Infinite Cuber? Yes, the live streams are all kind of goofy in terms of how they're being scheduled this term, because I run everything in school terms because that's how my life runs. So there's going to be lots of Fridays my time. Next week, we're actually going to be streaming on a Wednesday morning here, which will be a Tuesday for you in America and the UK, because I'll be out of town on Thursday, Friday. Hopefully some big drama happens so I can make like a random hotel room video. They seem to do quite well if I make a random video when I'm out of town or if something else is going on. They always seem to do quite well. So, you know, fingers crossed for some news while I'm out of town and I can make a stupid video on my phone and just upload it. Okay, so where we're going to start is somewhere a little bit serious, okay? I have gone back and forwards about whether I want to talk about this because it is so serious and because it is, it's pretty sad. It's really sad, actually. This is related. You all know probably so far that I'm raising funds for Movember. I do it every year. I grow a stupid mustache, and the particular area of Movember that I'm interested in is men's mental health and suicide prevention. Okay, so big trigger warning here. Okay, because we are going to talk about right now ending of one's own life. Okay, because it has happened. It's happened in our community in this last week, and it's horrible. It's always horrible. It's horrible. So I want to send out a whole heap of peace and love and thoughts and to the Chinese cubing community. And I want to look at this post here from it's on Bilibili. It's from the China Blind Twist team. It says to all fellow magicians, but I think they're talking about magic cube solvers. We have lost a cuber called Mi Chi from the Chinese blind solving community this week. He took his own life after some battles with really bad mental health outcomes and depression as well. Again, this is badly translated, so I don't know. I'm not going to go too much more into it. I'm not going to look into the comments or anything like that. But I just wanted to send my condolences to friends of Mi Chi, to Mi Chi's family, because this is awful when it happens. It's always awful. It's always awful when somebody dies. It's always awful when somebody dies like this. I've been through it in 2016, and it's tough. Like, it's really tough, and it's awful. And I just wanted to I wanted to mention Mi Chi today on the stream. I thought it was important, albeit not my usual kind of tone or my usual kind of stuff, but I did think it was important to mention him and mention his name. I don't know him. I've never heard of this person before, but he was part of our community, and we have lost him this week. So I guess all I wanted to say in regards to that was look after your mates, everyone. All right? Look after your mates. Talk about hard stuff when you have to. It's cringe and it's hard, but it's like the most important thing you can do as a friend to a mate who is struggling with something. I don't know what it's like in China, but I know what it's like in countries I've lived in, and particularly of men of my generation. I'm a millennial, like I'm probably older than everyone who's watching right now. We're not good at talking about our feelings and talking about what's going on with ourselves in a mental health perspective. We are getting better. I feel like all of you guys, the new generations coming through, are getting better at it, but it's worth reminding us all that it's super important to reach out when you're in trouble, to support a mate who you think is in trouble, to talk to a mate who you think is in trouble. Rest in peace, Mi Chi. I hope you're in a happier place now. And that's all I wanted to say about that. Okay? Look after your mates, everyone. Reach out to someone. Reach out to someone today who you might not have reached out to in a while. Just check in and say, "G'day, how you going?" That's all I wanted to say about that. Okay. We are going to move on from that very, very sad news and get back into our usual scheduled programming, all right? And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a fight. Would anyone like to have a fight with me? Let's have a fight in the form of a poll, because I want to know what we're solving today, right? What are we getting our average of 5 on? Are we doing Clonk? We didn't get Clonk. We got massively outvoted last week. Clock versus 3x3. Let's do it. Let's mix it up. No, because if I'm going to do 3x3, I'm going to keep it 3x3. Do I want to do Clock? Actually, no, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Clock, 2x2, 3x3. Those are your options. There's not a heap of people in the chat at the moment, but let's see. I'll open this up to the community. I'll open it up to all of you. You can let me know what you want to solve today. Megaminx color block is not going to happen, because that'll take me about half an hour on a good day to do an average of 5. Okay, what are we looking at? So if there's a clock majority in our small chat today, then maybe clock's gonna get it. Clock is pulling ahead, 58% to 42 for 3x3. Nobody wants 2x2. That's embarrassing for you, 2x2. 13 votes, 54% for This is exciting stuff. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. 54% for clock is what we're looking at. 17 people in the chat, 14 votes. If you haven't voted, oh my god, it's 50-50. What troll just came in and 50-50'd it. 15 votes and 3x3 is just pipped ahead. I think we're doing it. Have we got one more vote? 50. You absolute creature. I mean, if it's 50-50, I'll decide, and I'll decide clock. So shall I just end the poll there because you're trolling me? I'm getting trolled. It's 50-50. But I am going to choose. There we go, 50-50. No one for 2x2. We're doing clock today, everyone. We're doing clock. It was too close to call, so I'm the deciding vote. We're clonking it. Let's go. Let's go. Svoda, I am the troll. Well done, sir. Adam Beatty's stoked. Okay, cool. We're going to look at a bit of clonking. That's what we're up to. All right, clonk, clonk, clonk. And let's have a clean session. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd love to reset the times of my session. Grab your clock, everyone. Grab your clock, because we clonking. It's clonking time. It's clonking. Okay. I've got to keep really quiet while I'm scrambling clock, because it's not easy. For my tiny brain. Alright. Svoda's not happy at all. Well, then I'm happy. I'm stoked that I counter-trolled you, Svoda, in that case. Jesse's stoked about clock as well. Marvelous, everyone. So it's a holiday here in New Zealand today, by the way. It's, well, sorry, I beg your pardon. It's not a holiday in New Zealand. It's a holiday in the part of New Zealand I'm in Canterbury. It's our, like, anniversary day. From when the founding of Canterbury by European settlers. It was here before, and Maori lived here. But, you know, when it was founded by settlers, that's the anniversary of that. So, I've got kids in the house, all right? So people are running around. I have locked the door, so hopefully we won't get too interrupted. All right, anyway, enough of that. Shut up, everyone. I'm trying to concentrate on solving clock here, okay? That's what's happening right now. Oh, I don't like any of this. Oh, no, I can live with that. Okay, we can live with the dark side here. Yeah, okay. I'm going in raw. I haven't solved the clock in a minute. That's a clock pun, maybe? A time pun, certainly. 13 is pretty mid. Pretty mid, honestly. Let's get an average and see what happens. Put your times in the chat so I can see them. I assume everyone who voted for clock is doing clock. Surely. That's okay. That's not as okay. So yeah, this side it is. Okay, let's do it, hey? 4 for Adam. Dang. Oops. I'm not good at this. Name an event I am good at, though. Uh-oh. What happened there? What's happened there? Have I goofed it? Have I DNF'd this? No, I didn't DNF it. I just absolutely goofed it. Whoops. Sad. Color block with the Shengshou clock. R.I.P. I feel for you. Jesse with a 669. Nice. Jesse got an 830 on that first one. Okay. Some speedy clockers. If you're just tuning in, don't worry, alright? We're not doing... This is not a clock stream. We're just doing an average of 5. Adam Beatty goofed it as well with a 5. Svoda got a -224. God. The trolling goes so deep. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm going to do something radical. and I'm going to solve at 9 o'clock. All right? I don't usually do that. I usually do 6 and then flip and solve at 12. But I'm going to solve at 9 o'clock. Wish me luck, everyone. Wish me luck. Here we go. Ah, goofed. That was an error, not about the technique. That was just me being bad. I would have done that regardless. I did the extra turn, which is not smart. Oh, no. DNF. How did I do that? Okay. Is there a shortcut for DNF? I can't remember. 1785. There we go. No, that's not what I want. How do you DNF, everyone? If anyone can let me know in the chat how I just quickly set that as a DNF, that would be great. Because then I will have learned something. And maybe someone else will too. Learning is great, isn't it? How do I DNF that? Do I just click on here? Control 3. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Color Block. Control 3 did the job. Okay, cool. That was solve 3. This is a horrible average. Whose idea was it to do clock? Was that was Svoda. Svoda, honestly. Giving it all that. Oh, do clock. Unbelievable. I've goofed this scramble now as well, which is also your fault. This scrambles cursor. If I get a good result here, it doesn't count. Because, oh, control 2 is +2. Okay, good to know. Alright, this solve means nothing because I've misscrambled. But I'll still put it in the average. But I won't claim it as a PB if a PB happens. A PB is not going to happen because this is garbage. This is garbage. Well, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. Okay. One click and away we go. One. Whoop. Ooh, that was a nice first side, actually. Second side could have been better. But it doesn't count because it's a misscramble. Misscramble for a 12. Not bad. Not bad. Svoda, we all know you love clock. And this was all your idea. I'm making it a matter of record. There. I'm going to celebrate Svoda's love of clock. I'm going to immortalize it in a video. And I'll tell you how and why and where. I'm going to do that after this last solve. Okay, here we go. Ready? What was I doing? Oh, yeah, 2. Nice. Whoa. Oh, that could have been good, but I wrecked it. Okay, what's my average? 16. Womp, womp. Very, very, very mid. I'll be honest, everyone. Very mid. 16.3 is the average. Let me know your averages. Jesse, 764. 4.3. Svoda, wasn't it like anti-bullying week recently? Oh, yeah, that might count as bullying. All right, fair enough. Well, if I were to make a video about how much Svoda loves solving clock, somewhere I might put it is this channel here. Oh my gosh, he did it. He did it. Old fella did it. He's got a shorts channel now. You can go and find if you like brain rot, if brain rot is your vibe, you can go and subscribe to the shorts channel. I've just pinned the link there for you. There you go. That's good, isn't it? You can go and subscribe to the shorts channel and watch brain rot versions of my videos. If 5 or 10 minutes is just too long for you, then, you know, go and subscribe to the shorts channel and get some rot. Get some rot, everyone. Some more rot in your life. That's what you need. More scrolling, hey? Okay, Svoda, I'll leave you alone. I won't make a short about how much you love solving clock. I won't do that. This is a cheeky bit of self-promo, yes, for my stupid other channel. Okay, right, that's the solves. That's talking about the shorts channel. What else do I do? What else do I do? What else do I do? What is this channel for? It's for ads. It's for promoting the goods and services supplied by the following good people. SpeedCube Shop, that's one. Use code Cubecast there and save 5% off your order. If you want to get an amazing cubing course and just level up your cubing game, head to Cubing Life Academy. Use code Cubecast there to save 5% as well. And you can also buy stuff straight from me. That's right, me. You can go to speedcube.nz. You can buy Cube Sauce there. That's our amazing line of lubricants. I like my lube drippy, bro. And you can go to lastlayercubing.com as well and save 5% with code Cubecast on any of the fabulous merch and designs and things that you see there, including but not limited to this Cubecast mug. And one day I'll put that design on a t-shirt. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that in the holidays. Maybe I'll have a merch overhaul at Last Layer Cubing and get the Cubecast merch happening a bit more. That might be my next task during the holidays. Right. Shut up, everyone. I've got a message from Manu here. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna just... okay, hold on a minute. He's asking, what am I looking on? Oh, is half an hour from now good? The man's got to eat. Manu's working on getting some lunch, okay? Ephemica, make actual shorts. Oh, oh yes. Should we do a pair of shorts to celebrate the shorts channel? That's okay. I like that a lot, actually. Oh, that's pretty funny. I think we probably could. I think that's something we can work out. A literal pair of shorts to promote the shorts channel. Okay. Okay, sweet as I have lots of other stuff to yap about. And it's true, everyone. I'm just talking to Manu, who is going to be our guest today. We're going to talk about lots of stuff with him. We had a lunch stream, Adam Beatty, on when it was my birthday and I did the Halo stream. I had live Taco Bell. That was pretty exciting. Color block, my Cubecast short's about to be so drippy. I need to make Cube Sauce merch. That's what I need to do. I really need to get Cube Sauce merch happening. Okay. Right. Here's the deal. I did a bad job last week of talking about the tier list form that I need you guys to help me populate, okay? It was decided, excuse me, it was decided by the viewing public that we are going to create a tier list video. And that tier list video, as decided by you, is going to be about record reactions, okay? We're going to be tier listing and ranking the best reactions ever. To do that, I need you to submit videos to me. I need you to send me videos to rank on my tier list, all right? Now, I'm going to unpin the stupid message about my shorts channel because that's not nearly as important as this. I need to pin this message right here, okay? I need to pin this message right here, this link. This is the link to a little questionnaire that you can go through. It's super easy. You can just pop in the link to the video that you want me to add to my list. Add your name. Just write, don't mention my name if you don't want your name mentioned. Put your YouTube channel in there if you want to shout out. Tell me where in the world you are. Tell me if you want to get emails from me. Easy as. Okay? So go to the link that is now currently pinned in the chat. That will take you to this little form here. Fill out the form because I've only got 5 responses so far. And 5 responses does not a tier list make. And that's not your fault. That's my fault because I did a crappy job of talking about this on my stream last week because we ran out of time. I sort of mentioned it in the last sort of few seconds. Jesse, there has to be an Elias reaction on there because he's got so many. He's got so many. His reaction to anything has to be on there. The Brendan Dunnigan clock reaction has to be on there. Would you like to see what we've got so far? Would that be something that's interesting? Let's just take a look at what we've got so far. That's content, isn't it, everyone? Let's go and have a look. Bear with me. Doobie-doobie-doo. Responses. I don't want to see these on screen, so I'm going to put this into a different window so I don't dox anyone, because that's rude, right? As well as illegal. It's just a bit rude to dox people. So here's one here. How many of these do we reckon are going to be Rick Astley? That's the question. That's really the question. Okay, so let's have a look at this first one. This is risky. Okay, we've got Luke Garrett's sub 5+2. Okay, I don't know that. I'm not going to spoil these for myself. Will I? No, screw it. I will. I want to see it. Okay. Is this going to be like obscene? What are we looking at? Oh, that's gold. I've never seen that one. That's great. Okay. Okay, this is good stuff. This is wonderful stuff. We're already onto a great start. What's this? Someone sent me a search link. What a goober. I'm assuming it's this one. Is this the one we're looking at? Is this the one we're talking about? 3.4. I didn't know we had a 3.4. I want to see this one. Okay, that's very good. That's very good. I like that. Someone else has just put all of them. Oh, someone else has just submitted something now. I wonder if that's Rick Astley. Oh, no, I see what I've done. I put it in the... What a total goober. I put it in the YouTube search bar. Rubik's Club single. Nathaniel Berg 3.73. I don't know this one. This is exciting. Sub. Yes! Ooh, that's good. All right, I love this. This is strong. This is really strong stuff I'm seeing here, everyone. Really strong stuff. Loving it. So that's cool from Nathaniel there. Colin Burns from 9 years ago. 525. The WR. Okay. I haven't seen this one in a minute. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in a minute. Colin Burns, is he still cubing? So he's not really reacting, so that's interesting. We'll have to work out where that's going to go in the grand scheme of things. What's up, Cubing Craze? Welcome along. Let's do this one as well. 7x7 single. Okay, we're not watching that whole thing, but let's just skip to the goodies. Who is this? Vladislav Shevelsky. Nice microphone blowout. Let's go. We are going deep here. We're going into we're going into videos from 10 years ago. David, he works at OpenAI now. That's cool. All right, there's a couple of fresh ones have come in while we've been on stream. Let's see what sort of trouble they're causing. Luke Garrett. No, we got that one. We've had that one already. What are you up to? But it's a good one. It is good. We've had that one as well. Why is okay? People are just submitting the same ones now. Okay, well, never mind. At least now I have a video showing you what's on there already. That's great stuff, isn't it, everyone? Great stuff. So if we can get this together for next week, that would be amazing. I would love to. Oh wait, I forgot I was on stream. I was just about to watch some TV there, I think. Cubing Pizza, welcome along. Lovely to have you here. So yeah, there you go. That's the thing. I'll put the link in the description of this video when I make it a video. It's the pinned comment in the chat just now. Go there and submit your favorite cube record reactions. It doesn't have to be a world record. It doesn't have to be a national record. It just has to be there's probably going to be a PR and just the reaction. That's the game, everyone. That's the plan, all right? All right, 10:07. Where are we going next? Let's talk about the X-Man design 7x7, okay? Let's do that. Let's do that, everyone. Okay, so a post appeared the other day on r/newcubes. The Spark V2, lighter in weight, smaller in size, equipped with core magnets and UV coating. And it's all This is all about how much more gooder it is than the regular Spark, which is like, I don't know how old the Spark is now. It's got to be 6 years old. It was in stock when I bought the store 4 years ago, maybe 5 years old. There it is, very sparky, very nice, UV coated 7x7. I don't know much about big cube solving. I honestly don't really know very much about it at all. But it is what it is. It's 160 grams. It's, have we got a size here? It's 4.7? What is that, a ranking? I don't know what that means. Is that smaller or bigger than the Spark V1? This is a useless graphic. Chi. Please do better. So yeah, it's a ball core, shiny 7x7. Lovely. Love that for them. I don't think there's anything particularly exciting in the chat there, but people just kind of going, X-Man historically has really good stuff, so it's good to see a most likely and affordable and good 7x7. Not reading that commenter's name. This is why the internet is a scary place, everyone. Okay, so that was a post. Everyone was happy and optimistic, and it was a lovely day. Everyone was going, oh yeah, Spark 7x7. But then, dun dun. Then 2 days ago, there was a post saying, thank you so much for the sub. Right, brother. There was a post saying that the Spark V2 already has breaking issues. Oh no. Now, being old and grizzled and cynical as I am, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about my experience with returns, with big cubes, with people coming into the retail store with their big cube going, it's come apart and I can't fix it and it's broken. I am looking at this and I'm looking at this and I'm going, has little Timmy Tester just done a crappy job of putting this pot back together? Because I don't know how easily you can wreck a piece like that in the course of just normal solving. Who's a big cube lord in the chat? Who is a big cube lord that can give me some insight into this? Do you think that can happen as a result of just normal use of a 7x7, or is Timmy fat-handed it here? And then there's a lot of interesting fighting in the chat. People just being like, sus, new account, sus. People don't like to believe that there's a problem with this. But then an interesting question came up. Given that we have a release date for this cube now, which is about 2 days from now, people are, in my mind, kind of quite intelligently going, why did they send it out to testers a week before? Excuse me. Why did they send it out to testers a week before release? That is not how you get things tested. That's how you get things promoted, I guess, but you'd run the risk of it being promoted poorly. Din in the chat has just told me Dongsu Park has a video on YouTube about it. We might have to look at that. What was the name? Dongsu Park. Dongsu Park. There it is, look. Spark V2. I wonder what language it's in.
오늘도 간단하게 언박싱을 하나 해보겠습니다.
Well, it's going to be in Korean. It looks like. Can I get English subtitles? Korean auto-generate. Auto-translate. Let's try that. Auto-translate into LMNOP. LMNOP. English. There we go. Okay, great. Okay, we'll look at this in a second. I'll subscribe to Dongsu Park. I recommend you do too, okay? If anyone knows Dongsu Park and can give them the heads up, it'll be very early in the morning in Korea right now, but go ahead and give them the heads up that that I'm taking a look, because I don't know them. Okay. What was I going to do before this? I wanted to just talk about, shout out to Henry, who put me into the Big Cube Discord, which I'm not going to put up on screen because, again, I can't control the goofiness of people's usernames and the unhinged nonsense that they type into Discord chat. So I'm just going to summarize what I saw in the Big Cube Discord server, which was to say there's I suppose mixed response. I can't find my messages now because I went in there and people were like, yo, it's that guy from that thing. And I was like, yeah, I am. I don't know what I'm doing here, everyone. Who knows about the 7x7? So generally speaking, the word on the street is mixed results from the Spark 7x7 V2. I also bumped into Kyle Caden Hales on there as well. Nailed your name first time. Who was I think hopefully we're gonna have Kyle on the stream at some point soon, because they are part of the WRC. So that'd be cool. So here we go. Here's the response to me going what's going on, what's happening. Generally mixed response. People are saying that it's mid, that it's here we go. Some people have actually said that it's not very good at all. Sorry everyone, that took me a while to find these messages. I'm not going to say who is saying that it's not very good at all, because I think one of them is a Chi person, so I don't want to get them into trouble. But there's also some coping from other people going, I hope it'll be good. I've heard that the inners aren't very good. Somebody made it sound like it had potential, but then other people going, yeah, that's because they're sponsored. Sounds like it's going to be another one that's going to need some modding. It's interesting that people are saying it needs to be Florianed, okay? So for those of you who don't know, including myself, because I had to learn recently, Florian modding is like rounding off things, but it doesn't look particularly square. I mean, a 7x7 has to be pretty square. You know what I mean? Like, these look like fairly generous Florian holes/shapes. Wouldn't you say? So Adam's coming in now and saying that the bending of that piece that I was talking about earlier, which is oh no, it's not on this post, it's on this post. The bending of the piece here, which has led to that stress discoloration in the plastic there. Adam's saying that I think that can only happen with cubes that are too tight or have weird lockups. I suppose it could happen mid lockup, couldn't it? Mid pop. Color block. I like big cubes, but the only cube I've ever bent the plastic on is the Waylong V10. What? You bent the plastic on your Waylong V10? Very interesting. Dorito mod is goated. I don't know what that is. Adam also saying if you've got to do Florians to something, that's a bad sign. But well, it takes a long time. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of modding going on in the Big Cube community. Like it's a big thing. Like the Maylong 6M and 7M, when those came out, people were just like, they're epic if you mod them. And I was like, who's got time for that? There's so many freaking pieces. With the flow, hard to justify an expensive 7x7 with the Maylong 7 V2 being the best on the market and under $20. There you go. There's a Maylong V2M lover right there. Let's have a look at this video then, hey? We'll have a look at Dusong Park, was that it? Dusong Park. I hate a painful unboxing when they do that. Like, I don't need to see it coming in the box that it came in the mail. Like, what are you doing? Sorry, just to come slamming on you. Very, very long. Just open the box. Far out. Don't care. Don't really care about the gear, everyone, do we? Let's just see what we're looking at here. It's wrapped in plastic. Shocker. Bit of plastic noise. We love that. Look how shiny.
겉에 굉장히
Very oily on the
기름지네요.
outside.
이건
Yeah,
좀
that
물티슈로
happens. There's
닦아줄게요.
always some lube residue.
공장에서
Just give it
일단 좀
a dicht.
닦아주겠습니다.
That's what we would say
사이즈를
where I'm
한번
from.
비교를 해볼게요. 이게 원래 쓰던 아웃풋
That's the WRM.
스파크 V2입니다.
Looks comparable in size to the WRM. Hold on. Let's go back there a second. While we're on the subject of Florians, right? So that's the Spark on the right, it looks like, and the WRM on the left. He brought the WRM in with his left hand, didn't he?
사이즈를 한번 비교를 해볼게요.
So yeah,
원래
that is the WRM on the left. So actually, going back to our cool chat about Florian cuts, I would say that I think I prefer the look, certainly the look of the Florian cuts on the WRM. They look more generous. They look bigger. That's a decent size one in there. That's a little bit thriftier in that. So, WRM beater, based purely on Florian cuts, I would have to say, probably not. Welcome, speedcubing.org. Lovely to have you here. Chi getting in ahead of the game because Mo, you are almost certainly working on what right now that will probably be better. Gan are working on... No, wait, Gan were working on a 6x6. That's what we saw at the factory, hey? Okay. Let's find some turns, hey?
사이즈 스파크 체감상 아주 로고가 들어있고
the cube.
돌려보겠습니다.
Bit of a dry sound there, but I guess that's to be expected. I don't really know even what I'm looking at. I don't know what good turn spammage on a 7x7 would be, but this looks fairly comprehensive. Who is this person? Who is Dong Su? Are they like a renowned 7x7er? Let's find out. Let's find out. Who is this? Who is this? 2017 number. 7x7. NR2. WR17. Single 148. Average 153. WR8. Okay, so top 10 in the world. So this is no little Timmy. This is no Timmy. This is someone who knows about 7x7s.
의외로 이거 회전감은 지금 윤활유가 하나도 안 돼 있는
Zalario, that sounded kind of gross, eh?
네, 윤활유가 하나도 안 돼 있는 회전감이라서 윤활유를 좀
So
해봐야 될 것 같고.
it's certainly not unlubricated because it was covered in lube.
그걸 좀 감안해 드라이버.
Are we going to see a solve? He's going to attention.
왜냐면은 그 회전면에는 윤활이 전혀 안 돼 있는.
By the way, everyone should go and watch Dong-Soo Park's video in full. I just wanted to see some turns.
조금 돌리기가 편해졌습니다. 물론 윤활이 안 돼 있어서.
I'm not sure if he loosened it or tightened it.
해봐야겠죠. 윤활을 해봐야 알 얘긴데.
But I mean, that's what it is. What do we know, everyone? What do we know? The facts of the matter are that there is a Spark V2. Zalario unironically sounds like a Shengsho 7. That's rough. Here we go. Dong-Soo Park said that you should buy it only if you don't have a 7x7. But considering that the Meilong and WRM are both cheaper, probably doesn't make sense to buy it. Adam Beatty, I'll help figure out what to see. The cube looks tight right now, but he loosened it. Okay, cool. I'm not going to go through much more of his video because you should all go and watch his video and give him them sweet views because he's only got 456 sitting on this right now. There's more than 450 7x7 solvers, surely. So go watch his video, give him a sub. I don't have permission to watch it, so I don't want to watch much more than I already have, because that just seems a bit rude. So there we are. What do we know? The Spark V2, it exists. It's coming out in a couple of days. I don't think we've had a price for it yet. I don't think we've seen it on pre-order yet. That's something we can check. I got my fingers caught in my cable here. Let's go to... We'll check the homies at SpeedCube Shop first. Spark... It's kind of ironic that the Spark V2 is coming out already, given that we're talking about the Spark Max Spark cube the other day. Broy cubing. Actually, there are only 18 7x7 solvers. Well, in that case, he's doing very well with the views. That's impressive. So let's... I can't see it at SpeedCube Shop. Let's check out the Cubicle. Have they got it on pre? Because then we can get a little price. I don't see it. Spark You can't see what I'm looking at here, but that's fine. Nah, they don't have the Spark V2 yet. You can still get a Spark V1 there if you really want, and also at SpeedCube shop, and use code Cubecast for 5% off while you're there. How about that? Okay, that's the Spark, everyone. That's about enough of the Spark. So yeah, breaking news: there's only 18 7x7 solvers in the entire world, and Adam BT is confirming that. So we have a confirmation on that, and he is not one of them. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Let's take a look at something equally potentially as goofy while we're waiting for our guest Manu to turn up today. We're going to look at what is potentially a smart SKEWB. Okay? So, this post appeared 23 days ago now. I am not hot to trot with the news yet. I have not really been keeping up with this one. But anyway, this appeared. We haven't had a patent to look at in a while, so this is exciting. GAN SKEWB V2 patents popped up, and I went, "Oh, that's exciting." And I started to have a look. I was like, "Okay, sure. Looks like a SKEWB to me. Looks very SKEWBy. Looks like we got some GAN stuff going on in the corners. Okay. Looks like we got maybe some magnet capsules happening. We got definitely some adjustment-y stuff. That's all well and good. I can see some magnets in here. Would they be core magnets maybe? I don't know. Honestly. Or are they just receivers for the cap? There's definitely some excitement going on here. What's all this about? There's a lot going on, was my first impression. There's an awful lot going on inside here. And then we see the core. I'm like, oh, okay. A ball core SKEWB. Sure. Makes sense to me. But then all of a sudden, the cap's off the ball core. And there's an awful lot of stuff. Awful lot of stuff in here. An awful load of stuff. Way too much stuff. If this is not a smart cube, what else could this possibly be but a smart cube? So that was exciting. And it wasn't picked up by the original poster, but it was picked up by a bunch of other people. That looks like some kind of cable routing going on through there, which is curious in itself as well. Now, somebody very helpfully, Crypto Connor, good on you, champion. According to the translation, it is a smart SKEWB. So we've got a translation here. This is legit Google Translate in Chrome, so you can almost guarantee that it's bad. Okay, Google translates quite badly from Chinese because Chinese and English are such different languages. There's just all sorts of tone and feeling and stuff are missed and not put on. But here's the translation that this fella has got for us here. The utility model discloses a spherical shaft of oblique rotation of the Rubik's Cube, applied to the Rubik's Cube to connect the center block and the corner block of the Rubik's Cube through the ball shaft. The ball shaft comprises a sphere and 4 rotation shafts arranged on the sphere for connecting the corresponding corner blocks. The 4 rotation shafts are arranged at intervals. The rotation shaft can rotate on the sphere, and the ball shaft further compromises a ball base. Here's where we are. 4 circuit boards and 4 rotating shaft bodies arranged in the sphere cavity. 4 circuit boards and 4 rotating shaft bodies are all installed on the ball base 1 circuit board. In the 4 circuits is the main control board. The remaining 3 are sub-circuit boards, and the 3 sub-circuit boards are electrically connected with the main control circuit board through the wiring, and the tower spring is arranged between the circuit board and the rotating shaft. The utility model disclosed makes the junction of circuit board and wire more firm and stable. Oh, it is a wire routing that I saw. Gosh, I'm clever. And can avoid the dislocation impact that rotation shaft rotation brings to the circuit board, improves the stability of the circuit board, improves the power stability and supply of the ball shaft. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, here it is, everyone. There's enjoy talking about balls and shafts in the chat to your heart's content. I'm going to keep it classy. Right here is what I'm going to do. So this is a search by manufacturer on the website. So here we go. Here's it's called a slanted Rubik's Cube. And this is where the patent images have come from. I'm just going to have a look and make sure we did get all of them. Yeah, we did. So I'm going to search for smart. I can't find the word smart on there anyway. I'm going to search for the word AI. And obviously there's a lot of that, but it's in main. Oh no, GAN don't call it. What do GAN call their smart cubes? UI, isn't it? Let's do a search for UI. No, it's just circuit. Quickly, circuit. Quick, circuit. Yeah, no, okay. So this appears to be, what is the search term? I might translate that. The search term that's being used here is yeah, okay, so that's GAN. What's that? That's GAN's company name. The Guangzhou Ganyuan Intelligent Technology Company Limited is the name. So that's the search term that has been used to bring us to the slanted Rubik's Cube. This is coming from GAN. Oh, can we double check that? Oh yeah, inventors. Jiang Gan Yuan. So that's Mr. GAN. And here we go, assignee. Guangzhou Ganyuan Intelligent Technology Co. So this is a GAN patent. This is a GAN smart SKEWB patent. That much we have ascertained. That much is true. If you ask me how much it's going to cost and when it's going to be available, I will ban you for life, and I'll come to your house and kick you in the shins. With peace and love. Because this is a patent. This is not a real product yet. It doesn't exist. Joel, welcome along. I'll be waiting for the day when big cubes become smart cubes too. Well, that's going to be... at the moment, we can't have anything smarter than something that just has one register, you know, like one core that can keep a track of things, because you'd have to wonder how they would keep track of, let's say, a 4x4 that Colorblocks just brought up. How would they keep track of the center pieces on a 4x4? I don't know is the answer. What have we learned, everyone? We're probably at some point in the future, maybe, potentially, almost certainly, maybe, going to see a smart SKEWB, allegedly. All right. Thomas Lamano, agree. Want to see a smart 4x4, but I want to see GAN take another crack at a standard 4x4. Well, it looks like we're going to have a post-Christmas release for the GAN 4x4, because if it was a Christmas release, they'd have it out by now, because we are looking at the GAN 4x4 V2. Hasn't happened yet. It's still in prototyping stage, which leads me to believe that the prototype probably sucks. So I imagine they're probably still working on it. You know what I mean? Right, what are we doing here? We've got some goofy hardware news left in my own solo yapping, but I believe that Manu is available now, so we are going to talk to Manu. Or Manu. That'll be my first question. Okay, all right. Need some music while I set things up. Talk among yourselves, everyone. Talk among yourselves. I'm going to message Manu right here and get things started. Manu's gonna join us for a call, okay? Okay, sweet. I'll start a call. And you guys can have fun yelling at me if the sound's not right in the chat. That'll be fun, hey? Oh, I still don't have that one on my Stream Deck. I haven't got my Discord call screen. Joel Angelo, a smart clock would be fun, but I can't imagine there would be a massive market for that. I don't think any cube company is going to be in a mad rush to make a smart clock and sell it to 3 people. You know, it's a lot of work. Thomas, as long as the 4x4 is solved when it's turned on, it would be able to figure everything out with logic. No, I guess so. But you would need a brain. You'd need at least a 6x brain on mine. Like, you'd need my brain at least 6x'd. At least 6 to be able to work that out. But I'm sure there are people who can work that out. Oh, I just told him I would start a call and then I didn't start a call. Whoops, I'm good at this, eh? Let's close this window over here. And let's... Yo, there he is. Bear with me, because I'm gonna... You cannot be heard yet. You cannot even be seen. because I'm not good at this. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Is it that one? There, you can be seen now.
Wow.
You can be heard
Amazing.
too.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Wow. How exciting.
It's all going
I'm
on
glad
here. We've
that
got
I'm visible.
it's so high tech here. I impress myself sometimes with how high tech things are.
There we
Hey,
go.
hey Manu, welcome along. Lovely to have you here.
Hello. Yes, hello everyone in Cubecast land. Hope you all are having a good time. Man, that hardware news is actually pretty interesting, I gotta say.
What was piquing your interest most out of all that guff that we were talking about?
So what's interesting is like you're like, okay, GAN's cube, right? And then there's people in the chat that's like, okay, well, we want to see the GAN, or we want to see the smart cube 4x4, smart cube big cubes. I think it's definitely going to be the smart cube pyraminx, because that's all that like the kids in China are like learning, right? They're learning 3x3, 2x2, pyraminx is cube. So it makes sense for those to be out first. And we already know that like they use smart cubes to do a lot of their practice and stuff anyway. So that just makes the most sense to me, because they know that there's a market there. They'll just capitalize on the market immediately.
That is a very good call that I hadn't considered, actually, because that's one that could be quite easily smart cubified, because there's nothing really happening in a pyraminx, although you'd have to have your shaft measuring the inside turns. You'd need something for the tip. That would be the hard part. Whether it's...
All right, hot take. Let's just get rid of the tips. Easy, done.
There you go.
We've solved the event. We've solved the technology.
We've done it. We've done it, everyone. We've solved it. So we're going to solve a few things today, Manu, you and I. We're going to solve pro cubing. We're going to solve cubing content, I think, as well. Hey, that's what we're going to do today. Of course,
exciting.
We're not, but we're going to talk about them and have some.
No, we got this. We got this, dude. Have confidence.
I love the confidence. Manu. So lots of you will know Manu from his commentary, of course, on West Coast Cubing and speedcubing TV, and you run Cuber's live YouTube channel as well.
Yes, sir. All of that is absolutely accurate.
Do you want to... Let's start in the same way that I started on +3 the other day. +3 will be out tomorrow. Like and subscribe, everyone, on speedcubing TV. Do you want to give us a little bit of background? Because some people might not know who you are. Let's pretend that people don't know who you are. Give us the whole story.
Look, I would not be surprised if you don't really know who I am, because I'm kind of a nobody. But hello, everyone. My name is Manu. Been cubing for like the better part, actually no, more than a decade at this point, because my ID is 2013. That's kind of scary.
Whoa, that's OG.
It's not quite OG. Like, so I saw something interesting recently where like apparently every user in the WCA database has like an internal ID number that's different from your WCA ID. And not Kevin, Michael Young, for those of you who might know, he has 2008 ID. He has internal ID number 255. And he was like, does that mean he was one of the first 300 people who was part of the WCA? But if that's the case, then like he's like a real OG, right? Like I'm only...
I need to know who number one is now. I need to know.
Number one is, I wonder... Because 2003 World Championships was not part of the WCA didn't exist then. So I wonder, it was probably some random Caltech comp, and maybe like the first person registered alphabetically in that Caltech comp in like 2004, perhaps.
Maybe. That's a big flex. We need to find someone on the software team and find this out. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, this is all good. I've been cubing for like over a decade at this point. I'm also a delegate, by the way, in Southern California here. And one of the things I think is most fun about cubing is just how hype like some of these matches can be. Because I remember, so in 2019, right, I am in my internship. It's the summer, and 2019 World Championships is going on. And I literally put a block of time in my calendar every single day so that I wouldn't have like a meeting at that time to do cubing. And during that summer when Worlds was going on, I was just watching Worlds that entire hour. And doing nothing else. I'm like, this is so fun. This is like really exciting to see what's going on, because it's like it was all the way in Australia. I was a poor college student, so I didn't have the opportunity to go. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool. And since 2020, Cubers Live is like this organization, sub brand of West Coast Cubing that does like a lot of like live streaming and like video production type stuff. And the whole goal is really to like make cubing more interesting and kind of like spread it out to a larger audience on YouTube. We used to stream on Twitch also. Now I do streams on YouTube. making YouTube videos, and things like that. So that's kind of like my involvement in the space. Been also doing some broadcasting work as like commentary. I also produce the live streams that show up on Cubers Live. I work somewhat closely with Matthew Marinick. So if you saw the North American Championships live stream, I helped out on the crew side of doing that. So like doing all the setup, taping down the wires, setting up the camera angles, doing the white balancing and things like that too. So
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's quick introduction. That's my activities in cubing so far.
So far. Yeah. So heavily involved in the broadcast side. You've commentated a lot. Hey, you've been doing quite a lot of I mean, compared to anyone else, you've been doing quite a lot of commentary, I would say. And you make a real good team with Dylan Miller.
Dude, Dilly and I didn't really talk to Dylan much / at all before NAC, but like as soon as I was like, Dylan, I want to interview you during NAC, I think we just hit it off from there. He's a very, very interesting guy. He has a lot of interesting thoughts about like the state of competitive speed cubing and stuff like that. And I think it's just really fun to talk about. And he's also a streamer, right? So it's like he knows how to talk. And I think that's like one of the most important things as a commentator. Is there's a lot of people who have like way more knowledge than I do. But it's kind of like you need to be able to disseminate that information to the audience in like a certain way. For example, like this is something like I got clowned on at NAC. Every time I showed up on the camera, or at least every day that I was on the camera, I would always explain average of 5, right? Yeah. And like to the majority of the viewers, it's like, okay, well, I know what average of 5 is. Who cares, right? But for the random like 10 viewers who are just tuning into the stream, they like, oh, Rubik's Cube, I played with that in the 80s. How are they like, scaling each other? Like, how do they rank each other? I'm like, okay, well, you don't know how this happened. So it takes me a minute to explain what average of 5 is. So I might as well just explain it to you so you just understand what's going on. And then you have some context as to, like what's going on and like why we're like ranking them this like weird and funny way.
Yeah. No, it's because you get it, because you understand what the job is. The job is to make cubing more accessible to people, because this is something. So I teach like an enterprise course, like a business course to young people in New Zealand. I was doing it yesterday. Mm-hmm. And something we always say, but especially when we're talking about markets, right? It's understanding your markets. And this is something that my business mentor taught me as well very early in my sort of store ownership career. Is like you can spend as much time as you like going after people who know what cubing is and are really deep into it. But that's like 5% of your available customers. Like the biggest part of the market when you're selling cubes is beginners. And the biggest part of your market when you're streaming cubing is not necessarily cubers. It's people who like to watch an engaging, fun, exciting cube competition.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And you need to be able to understand that and be able to brush off the people going, yeah, duh, I know what an average of 5 is. Because it's like, that's cool. That's great that you do. But not everyone watching does. And understanding that is kind of key to growing cubing in a real way, is my opinion. So on that subject, I wanted to talk about pro cubing. We touched on it on +3, which everyone will be able to see tomorrow, and we realized we're quite aligned in what we think pro cubing might look like. And let's remember, this is not at the top of this. Let's remember that this is not a criticism of the WCA. We're not, in anything we say, we're not saying this needs to happen because the WCA is not doing it and then that means the WCA is bad. But we are identifying areas that we think there's potential for growth. I think with peace and love and respect, the WCA actually shouldn't do some of the stuff that we're talking about because I don't think they're set up to do it. I think that they should chill and do what they do right now really well, or better. You know what I mean? There's always room for improvement. But what we're going to be talking about is potentially something that might be a different organization, but I would love it to run consecutively with the WCA in alignment so that the records are all, what's the word I'm looking for? They're all in the same place. They're all the same. They're all competing on the same or a similar platform, you know?
Yeah, they're all like sanctioned or whatnot. Yeah, I fully agree.
That's the word I'm looking for. So give us. So I want to start by now. You're not going to be able to see this, Manu, but I want to show everyone this reel that I saw the other day. Oops, I've put it out here. Sorry, being a boomer. Just bear with me, everyone. All right, so there was a reel I saw on Instagram the other day. It is it's competitive cornhole. Okay. Hold on a minute. I need to add. I don't have your audio right now. Sorry, 1 second. Just so you're aware, Manu, in case you start talking, I don't have your audio on this scene. But what we're looking at is cornhole, which is throwing beanbags into a little hole in the ground. It's on ESPN. For goodness sake, this is on ESPN, and there's a crowd there watching. It's sponsored. There's sponsors all over the place. Big ones: Coca-Cola, Bud Light. We probably shouldn't get alcohol sponsors. I can't really endorse that. But it's the reason I want to talk about this is, and I'm just going to bring you back in on the screen. There we go. We've got Manu back. The reason I wanted to talk about that, Manu, is that there is barely a simpler game than cornhole, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what it is.
So,
I've never played it. I believe it's from where you're from.
Yeah, exactly. This is my game. This is the game that we used to play. So I'm from the Midwest originally, right? So like for those of you who don't know, I'm sure literally everyone around the world knows this place. I'm actually from Ohio. It is a real place.
You're from a meme.
Yeah, I'm from a meme. Like before it was a real meme. And we used to play this game. This game is called Cornhole. It's a really simple game. All you do is like you have 4 beanbags you play with a partner. And you have to toss the beanbags onto the board. If you get it on the board, you get 1 point. If you get it in the hole, it's 3 points. And you just go back and forth, and you have to get to 21. If you go over, you bust, and you like go back down. I think we would play. You would go back down to 11. And obviously, like you want to beat the other team. Sometimes you'd have a win by 2 rule. That's neither here nor there. But the point is, it's like a game that like everyone knows, right? And it's a very casual game. Most times when you play cornhole, you just miss. Like, because the thing is slippery and like, you know, you need to have the right technique or whatever. But everyone knows what it is. And we all were like, oh, it's just like some backyard game. But then you see like competitive cornhole and they make it like look cool. Like this is the same stuff that we used to do sometimes. And like, you know, if you see that clip, right, where he like sinks 2 of his bags, but not anyone else's, that is like something that would happen on like a schoolyard. And then you'd be like, yo, that's like this guy, he's legendary for pulling it off that one time.
Yeah.
And they've turned that kind of like backyardy, like recess like game, and they turned it into like something that's really, really hype. I think that's really cool.
So what's your impression? What's your impression on how they've done that? Like, how have they taken something like cornhole and made it into this huge thing that's hype and it's on ESPN and people want to watch it and people want to sponsor it?
Yeah, so I think there are a couple of factors. One factor, which is inherent to the game of cornhole itself, or at least the way that they play cornhole, is it is a head-to-head competition. When you have something that's head-to-head, there are clear stakes for the audience. Like the audience understands what the stakes are. I win, you lose. That's it. Like there's no like in between where like both competitors kind of do well and they both like kind of can walk away with something from it. No, it's just I win, you lose. I mentioned this on +3 also. Like I'm watching the Bengals this season, and man, dude, every time they lose by 1 point, even though Joe Burrow is out there like completely demolishing like the what is it called? Demolishing like the box score, right? And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter because you still lost. That's it. Like it doesn't matter how good you do. So I think that's inherently something that's really, really important because it's very obvious to understand win and loss. The other thing which I think is really interesting is they have like this really nice production quality to it, right? You could see like as he was like doing his shot, you could see a top-down view of exactly what's going on, and you can see like exactly like the way that the path that the bag takes as it gets into the hole. That's really cool. They have like a replay system, so like, you know, everyone can be hype, and then that way you have cornhole on the second monitor or it's on your TV screen while you're making lunch. You hear something go off, and then you can go back and see, oh, cool, in this replay, here's like what happened. And yeah, I mean, I think that's like part of the thing that just makes it really hype. They have like this big audience there too, which I'm sure definitely like adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah,
the players get to pop off. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of got it all going on. It's got like it looks like, okay, I can get I can get behind this guy throwing a beanbag over there. You know what I mean? Like, I can totally get that.
Yeah.
If you break any sport down, really, you can just they're so simple and so silly. But the biggest ones in the world, like football, soccer, if you will, American football, rugby. I watch a lot of rugby. It's just two teams smashing into each other. It's amazing. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But it's a very simple game. Actually, that arguably no. Rugby's quite complicated, man. I'm still learning. Like, every time I watch it, I'm learning more about it. But it's the important thing is what you've brought up there is head to head. Really easy to understand. Me and my son are gonna go watch the rugby on Sunday. All Blacks versus France. All Blacks smash France. Good. France smash All Blacks. Sad. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very simple to understand the outcome. And the commentators, I would say, and the way it's presented does a good job of explaining what is happening to people who don't know. Now, I keep hearing this argument, like, why would non-cubers want to watch cubing? Well, why do I want to watch rugby? I don't play it.
Exactly.
I can't play. I'm 75 kgs. I'd be killed if I tried to play rugby. Like, I'm never going to play, but I understand the game. I love to watch it, and it's fun, and it's an exciting community thing to be a part of. So, take us through your vision. Take us through your vision, Manu, of what we're talking about here. And maybe is there fundamental stuff we need to understand about your vision first?
Yeah, so here's the first thing. I will also put the disclaimer out there. I'm not trying to get rid of the WCA, because as Mike has mentioned, and as you know, literally everyone I've talked to about things like this, right? We're all like, the WCA is really, really, really good at drawing in new cubers, right? Like, people will just show up to a cube competition and just to do it, right? So the WCA is really good at that. So there's no point in scrapping the WCA. No. My thought is, let's say that you have like some sort of circuit, right? And you have some sort of, you could call it a league, if you will, you could call it a circuit, where you have people who have to qualify for a championship, a world championship of some kind. And at the world championship, you have a head-to-head bracket where you have two people go off against each other, and it comes down to just right then and there, who is better than the other one. Now, I think in that kind of format, it doesn't make sense to do an average of 5, because an average of 5, A, it's confusing to the audience, and B, it doesn't have the same satisfying, like, instant gratification factor. You can tell based on one single who's won and who's lost, right? But of course, you know, you don't necessarily want to blame everything on one single, so you can just have a set of singles. Like, you could do like first to 5, first to 7, something like that, and that like eliminates a little bit more of the variance, such that the people who are truly better, on average, are going to probably perform better. But then you also have the opportunity for someone to steal 3 singles off of like Maddie or something like that, right? From there, you have a head-to-head, I think a double elimination bracket, because I loved the fact that Timon got knocked out in GAN SSL finals round 1. And then he had to make a loser's comeback where he had to beat everyone, including Xuanyi, including Maddie. I think he also went up against Leo as well. And he had to beat all of those people to finally make it back to Yiheng to have a chance to win the whole thing. That is just hype.
Yeah, that was really cool.
You see that a lot in esports too. There's a lot of esports that have the double eliminations.
I've got to give a shout out to GAN for SSL. I think there was some issues with tech, and there were some issues with venue and having people in the venue, but the shape of it, the way it was laid out, and the format of the competition and the production value, honestly, was awesome. Like, that was so exciting, and that's where you saw. That's exactly what you're talking about. That losers bracket comeback. That, who did he get knocked out by in the first instance? Was it Yi?
Xuanyi, I think.
Xuanyi.
I think Xuanyi, yeah.
So we need, I think, and this is something I talked about because I asked you guys on the podcast, what would be your radical change that you would make, and the one that I suggested is ditching average of 5 in whatever format we take to the public, to the new public who haven't seen speedcubing, because I really liked Red Bull. I forget exactly what the format was, but it wasn't averages. It was head-to-head battles, I'm pretty sure, in Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was head to head. I don't remember if they just did one solve. Maybe they did like best of 3.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
and see if I can look at the results from 2020.
I mean,
me.
the other thing I do want to mention real fast is the other thing which I think is important is you start off this league 3x3 only.
Oh, hell yes. No.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. This is about the Rubik's Cube. This is about 3x3. Because again, that's another thing that people who aren't into cubing are just not ready for. It's too much. And that might sound silly, but it's like you've lost them once you start talking about other puzzles. Yes, they exist. They will always exist.
Exactly.
They will always be around. But there is no need for side events of any kind in a pro cubing league. It's all about 3x3 and 3x3 only.
Yeah. I mean, you could totally have like events where you have like one-off events, right? Where you have like some other puzzle, right? Like you throw 4x4 in, or something that like, because sure, 3x3 is a touch short, right? So if you have something a little bit longer, maybe that would hold the audience a little bit better. I could see an argument for that. But I think the main format is always going to be 3x3.
Yeah.
It just has to be.
I'd push back on that though, because throwing the cornhole bag, how long does that last? It's not,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a good enough argument to have longer events, because a 3x3 solve is still, for someone like you who actually knows what's going on and can break it down, like seeing a slow-mo replay, you're able to go, okay, so he's double X cross or whatever, this has happened, then he skipped here or whatever. Like you're able to do that immediate breakdown with a decent replay. And that's kind of always been Matt Mayernick's like driving thing, hasn't it? Because he did replay for a sport. He was on the show and told me about that.
Yep.
And that is vitally important, hey?
Yeah, I mean, I think so we saw some replays happen at Asian Champs also. And that was really good to see, because you could see the commentators be able to like kind of dissect solves a little bit finer. But yeah, Mayernick is like the only one I think who does it at the level that is kind of required at like a like a premier production level, similar to what you would see on TV.
Yeah, right.
And the is just great. Like there are so many times where I look at a solve, I'm like, oh, okay, I think he did this, right? And then you go back and see that it's like, oh no, it was actually a completely different solution. Or it's like, oh, I thought it was this ZB, but it's actually this ZB, which is a harder one, and therefore that's you can talk about that, right? And say like, oh, instead of this being this simple one that everyone knows, it's actually this more complicated thing, which really shows you the knowledge of the solver themselves.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to find exactly what the format was in Red Bull, but I haven't been able to find it. I'm just looking back at the podiums now, and then they did something cool that I'd forgotten about that they did, which I think I would love to see in pro as well. And I'm interested to hear your opinion. I'm dropping this one right on you, but they had a speedcubing mixed podium and they had a speedcubing female podium as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of ahead of the game in a sense. It's an interesting one, because you can be like, well, equality means that we shouldn't have that. And it's just like, well, that's kind of ignoring what the issue is, though, really. That's ignoring the reality of what we're seeing in our community. It may be that one day, once female representation in cubing is higher, if that ever happens, that we do have a genuine competitive mixed podium. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me that there is a need for a female podium. And I think that in itself is going to do a job of representation to girls who might want to pick up speedcubing.
Yeah, it's very possible. And not to get political, but I think there's a difference between equality and equity. And I think, we should, as a community, do what we can to promote people in like smaller groups, right? I don't know if marginalized communities, I don't know what the kind of connotation that has, so I'm not going to specifically use that. But yeah, I think like, for example, at NAC this year, they like recognized the women North American champions. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. It's cool that they were all able to be there and all able to like take the spotlight during the award ceremony where, everyone can like recognize them. That's pretty cool, I think. Yeah,
right. I like that a lot. It's interesting looking back at these names now. The speedcubing mixed, Max Park, Timon Koloshinsky, that's not changed much. Patrick Ponce is there. Speedcubing female was Juliette, Dana Yee,
Yep.
Magdalena.
Yeah,
I don't know
No,
Magdalena.
there's still she's the female world record holder.
Is she? I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
What a goober. I just
Yeah, no.
assumed that was Juliet.
Oh no. I mean, I think Juliet still has the female OH world record.
That's right.
But Magdalena has actually I think she has a couple female world records across a couple events. She's very, very good.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Okay, so yeah, wouldn't a tour be lovely? Wouldn't a tour be nice? Like a head-to-head sort of tour, the Rubik's Cube World Cup tour or something like that would be sick.
Yeah. I mean, so look, I'll be straight up about this. A lot of my ideas on like what like a pro cubing tour or circuit looks like definitely comes from golf, because I played I lived in like the city of golf when I grew up. And in golf, they have this thing called the FedEx Cup, right? And it's a season-long race. And the way it works is every week they have some sort of tournament, and depending on your placement in that tournament and like I think the ranking of the tournament, if you go to a smaller tournament, you get less points. If you go to a bigger like proper PGA Tour tournament, you get like a bunch of points. You collect points throughout the season, and then there are four final events that happen at the end. And originally 150 players make the first event. Then they cut that down to I think 90, then 60, then 30. And the final 30 are the only ones who are eligible for the final prize, the FedEx Cup. And that's a huge prize. It's like a $10 million prize if you win that. Obviously, what I'm saying is we need $10 million in cubing. I think that would definitely work, and that would solve all of our problems. But that's kind of like an idea, and I think that would be cool to do some kind of tour like this where you have points. If you all remember Vegas Cubing Cup, it's kind of a similar idea. It's not exactly in the same way because you can get a lot of points at Vegas Cubing Cup just by showing up and having fun at the competition, which I think was the goal of that, right? It was not to make like a pro cubing circuit or whatever. But I think ideas like that are certainly very interesting to me because it gets more people to be involved. Obviously, you can get points for just showing up, sure. But then it also rewards people who win the really big titles. Like if you become the North American champion, if you become the Australian national champion or whatever, right? Depending on like the type of event you go to, you can get more points that way. Smash, I think, has a similar system, but that one is a little bit harder to understand.
Okay. See, that's what I'm just trying to think from a purely sellable, marketable, sponsor attracting point of view. We need clippable moments, Manu. That's what we need. We need clippable moments. Yeah. We need moments like that cornhole shot. We need moments like the wears at Red Bull. We need more of those moments. Like, I don't know if there is a better mainstream bit of cubing content other than the Netflix documentary. I don't know if there is a better shareable clip of speed cubing than the Weir brothers at Red Bull. Genuinely.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest things that has ever happened to our daft little sport because so many people saw that. So easy to understand. You don't need to know anything about cubing. Nothing. You don't need to know. Well, it's more emotional because they're brothers, but it's these two brothers competing and racing down to the 100th of a second. No, was it the 1,000th? It was
yeah, I think it might have been the 1,000th of a second.
It was it was ridiculous. And that's what we want out of this thing. So it has to be, in my opinion, singles. It has to be head to head. I think it has to be. I think events need to be that double elimination bracket that you've talked about, and it needs to be. It needs to have backing, and it needs to be clippable, and it needs to be marketable. And I just don't know how we do that. That's the trouble. So let's like, this is the hardest part of this, right? Because we can daydream all day long and argue about the perfect solution and all that kind of stuff. But how does it start? How does it start, you know?
Yeah, that's something that I don't know. I mean, for one thing, like the WCA at least has like experimented with like unofficial formats. Like we have like Nations Cup, right? That happens at basically like every major these days is some kind of like Nations Cup or like some kind of like regions relay, right? And that is also like a head-to-head singles based format. And there's some like interesting and dramatic moments. There's no footage of this anywhere, unfortunately, and it's actually tragic that there is no footage. I was at Euros. The Euros Nations Cup was actually kind of hype.
Okay.
It was actually pretty fun to watch. Mainly because like I think Russia was like the number one team in the regions relay, but no one in Europe really wanted Russia to win because of all the political stuff going on, and it was crazy because Sweden was the team to defeat Russia, I think, in like the semifinals, and and this was in like a stadium, like in like an arena type venue,
Yeah.
and everyone was so hyped for Sweden to beat Russia, and I'm just like, wow, I did not care about this Nations Cup thing. I was just like, oh, I got nothing better to do. Like, I'm in Spain. Let's just watch this. But like, I got like into it. So that's one thing. So I think there definitely needs to be more experimentation of different formats and things like this. The other thing that I think is we just straight up need more money.
Well, yeah.
This is my personal opinion. Like, cubing has enjoyed its time as a grassroots community, and we've gotten so much out of it. Like, we've gotten an amazing community. But I think in order to grow the sport, I think there just needs to be more money that gets put in. And as much as I dislike it, as much as I would like to be like, oh, of course, we can just grow the sport of pure will, everyone will come to see how awesome cubing is. It's difficult to get like the eyes in the right places, especially with so much going on, right? Like, I could go watch an NFL game, or I could just watch YouTube. I could go watch a movie. How do you get people to be like, yeah, those things don't matter. I want to watch speed cubing. I want to watch Rubik's Cube tonight. I think that's interesting, and I think one way to solve the problem is definitely to get more money so we can do better broadcasts, bigger broadcasts. We can try out new things. And so we can get pro cubers to get paid. I mean, they're skilled athletes, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I think they definitely deserve some piece of the pie.
For sure. I'm just gonna catch up with the chat really briefly because there's someone in the chat, Level Up Cube, who is agreeing that Nations Cup at Euros is wild. Also saying that's why I like the GAN Smart Cube tournament, pumping money into an entirely new type of tournament. Yeah, I love that. You know what I loved a lot about GAN SSL is I loved seeing GAN spending money on an event. I love to see that from a manufacturer. Like that's a step in the right direction. I love that. Then my mate John Baxter, official Timmy, trying to understand what cornhole is, just like me. He's like, wait, it's like darts mixed with curling? Okay, sure. That's another one. Oh, so Level Up Cube was saying Red Bull was wild. Yeah, okay, Red Bull comp was wild. It was crazy. And that the outcomes from Red Bull, we're still feeling it today. We're like, honestly, I swear, there's still people know about cubing because they saw bits and pieces of Red Bull. Like, my wife knows about the Red Bull World Cup, and she doesn't know anything else.
Right.
But it's about being focused. So I asked you the hard question. How do we start? I'm gutted that we don't, like, Monkey League seems to have gone away, and that's fair. I think Philip just didn't have the time to do it anymore. I feel like it could be revitalized potentially with a slightly different format, and because so what we need to take to a sponsor, like, how do we sell speed cubing to a sponsor is my big question, and my vibe would be, well, I think we have to get something up and running in some kind of shape. Maybe it's online to start with and running the double elim so that we have stuff to talk about, so that we have results to talk about in a way that is understandable by lay people, by people who are not cubing. So and then once we have proof of performance, we can take that to sponsors and say, here's what we're doing. We want to take this into the real world and make it happen and fly people around and stuff. What have you got? Taking it to looking at cornhole, right? Coca-Cola was a sponsor. Right. Regardless of what you think of that company as a whole, I think we do need to recognize that we need real big sponsors to make this happen. There were problems with Red Bull as a sponsor, which I will acknowledge, which is that our community is mostly young and shouldn't be drinking Red Bull anyway. But it got the job done and it got it out there, and it was killer. But I think you're right. We need cash. We're not going to get cash by going, hey, Coca-Cola, do you want to sponsor this Rubik's Cube competition? Because they'll come along and look at it and go, no, we don't, because what is this? How can we sell this?
Or like maybe they'll be like, yeah, we'll throw $100 your way, right? Something that's like insignificant. It's like,
here's
okay,
a
this is
case
like
of
not
Coke.
gonna get the job done. Yeah, exactly.
No,
the winner gets 1 bottle of Coca-Cola.
The format of our current competitions, which I'm not suggesting we change, is not viewer friendly. It's just not. I've tried watching live streams, and even with the best commentary in the world, Manu, with you and Dylan, I'm just like, Squan comes up, and I'm just like, nope, see you later.
Okay. To be fair, that specific competition, we were definitely not the people to be commentating Square One, because neither Dylan or I are particularly versed.
Okay, so I just meant generally that it's like I want to see the fastest people doing 3x3, and then that's about it, really.
Yeah, so this is another point, and this is something that I am definitely going to get a ton of heat for. I think if you're at Asian Championships, I don't care who is the first seed. I have to see the fastest people. I don't care if they're from Europe. I don't care if they're from Asia. I don't care if they're from North America. You have to see the fastest people, because I think that's really important, because I think something that Cubing needs is Cubing has a lot of personalities, right? We have a lot of people who will follow Max, who will follow Timon, who will follow Maddie. But if you don't put them on the stream, then it's just like, okay, well, the stream is not showing my favorite person. I don't care. I'm just going to go and do something else, because it's not a name that you can recognize, right? Like, why did people want to watch the Kansas City Chiefs? It doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people didn't even know what football was. They just know, oh, this is Taylor Swift's team. And during the broadcast, they might show Taylor Swift. Okay, cool. I'm going to watch this game now.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's important and people need to realize. I thought it was awful that at Euros, they put all the Europeans on the green stage and like front and center, all the cameras are on them. And then you have the non-Europeans off to the side, even though there were many non-Europeans who got onto the overall podium and who are objectively better speedcubers. At the end of the day, I think if you want to have a European championship, you just have only Europeans, and then that's fine. Then you just show the best people in Europe, and I still think that's going to be hype. But if you want to have an open tournament, I think you have to show everyone, because otherwise, like, you're going to get people who are just not interesting to watch. And you need to, and I think from a broadcast organizational perspective, you need to understand things like that. If I go to a sponsor and say, Max Park is at this competition, he's at Oceanic Championships 2024, and he has the 3x3 single world record, he might get another world record here. But then they never show Max Park. The sponsor is going to be like, okay, well, I thought we were going to see Max Park. Who are just these like random people. Like, I don't care.
No, yeah, I hear you on that as well. I watched a bit of the Asian Championships live stream, and they were having a shocker with the camera cutter, whoever was switching, just, I don't know if they didn't get the memo or whatever, but they just would not switch, and it was really frustrating to watch. Really frustrating. I was trying to watch the it was pyraminx. I was quite keen to see, what's the name? Is it Juan? The super fast pyraminx cuber. Someone will
Lincoln Zhang.
Lincoln, that's it. Not not what I said. And they just would not switch to him, and it was just like, it was killing me. Like, I didn't see all 5 of his solves. Like, the fastest pyraminx solver in the world is putting down 5 solves. You've got 5 chances, and you hit 3 of them. Like, unacceptable.
Exactly. And I think it's definitely like, look, I think it's really easy as a commentator to be like, oh, duh, they should just do this better. But as an organizer, I can tell you it is tricky, because not everyone gets the memo, right? And we are like, broadly speaking, this is very early days for Cubing broadcasting, right?
For sure.
Only recently are we like broadcasting like non-major competitions, right? Where we have local competitions like being live streamed. Heck, I'm even going to live stream a mock competition this weekend. But that's only like a recent thing, right? And people are just kind of getting warmed up and used to the idea of, okay, there's a live stream. We need to think about like what it's going to look like on the live stream, because there's going to be more people watching that live stream than who are in the venue at the time. And that's something that I think also the competitors are going to eventually have to get used to. We've done things in one way for so long that, of course, it's going to be hard to switch. But I think as Cubing grows more and more, these are just all considerations we have to put in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So just kind of summing this up before we move on. This is kind of my hot take is that you, Matthew, all the people trying to broadcast, trying to live stream competitions, you you are trying to complete what is an impossible task, because WCA competitions are, in my opinion, now this is a bit bleak, but it's my hot take, they're borderline unbroadcastable. They're so... And we're used to that because this is how competitions run and this is how we get the job done. I understand that, and that's fine. But in their very nature, they are borderline unbroadcastable because you've got to have a switcher who is so onto it. You've got to have a schedule that is so tight, and you've got to know who's going to be at what station, where, and when. So I've been on broadcasts. So I understand broadcasting, and I've been on WCA. And my impression from being on both sides of things, I would be really interested to hear your take and Matthew Marinix's take as well. But I feel like we need the new format because the current format is almost unbroadcastable. And I'm saying that as someone who knows cubing fairly well and tries to watch live streams and goes, what is this?
No, yeah, there are many times. So I think that we tried to do a good job at NAC at trying to keep it at least somewhat lively, show people that we know that the audience is going to be interested in, and relay that back to the organization team. That's the toughest part. Is there's like a broadcast team, right, which is all the people behind the production. So we're talking like Tyler Rose, we're talking John Epley, we're talking Matt Rosman, right? Those types of people who the audience, are never going to see, but their jobs are very tough, trying to keep track of everyone. If you want, ask Tyler Rose about the War Room. He'll tell you tons about it. But you have those people and you have the commentators, right? We make up like the broadcast team, and then there's the entire organization team in let's say Cubing USA in this case, right? And trying to get that communication across is what we're trying to build. And trying to establish like, okay, well, here's like what the broadcast team needs in order for the broadcast to succeed. And obviously we want the broadcast to succeed because, well, it's good for the broadcast. And also it's good for cubing. We think it's good for cubing. And then the organizational team is like, okay, well, here's like the rules and regulations we have to go by, right? The WCA rules are this and that, and we need to do these in this way because we know it's going to be more efficient. And it's all about coming to a compromise. And that is where we're at, is trying to figure out how we can compromise. And one of the things we do have to compromise on is just this format. And I think I'll push back a little bit. I think the format can be interesting. Okay, I guess I'm saying that the format is interesting as a cuber, right? Because I'm going back to Worlds Finals last year. That is just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. Yiheng loses it by 0.01. You just could not write a better story than that. But as a non-cuber, that would be interesting to see like what they think and if they were able to follow all the stuff that goes on. Yeah, so I don't know. I think there is a ton and tons of work that still is yet to be done. We can theory craft all we want, but the only way that we're actually going to get to our top tier level broadcasting is just trying over and over. And that's my philosophy, and I think to some extent that's Marinix's philosophy also, is let's just try to put broadcasting into it. Let's see what issues we run into. Let's figure out how we can make these issues not a problem anymore. One of the things that Marinix did, right, is this replay. The replay gets rid of the lag factor that you have once the cube is solved. The judge has to inspect the cube, the judge has to write down the time, the competitor has to write down the time. All these things take time. The viewers don't really care about this, right? But if you can move over to a replay, you can have the commentators talk about that replay while that's going on. And then once that replay is done, someone else is already in the seat and you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's a good flow. There's like little innovations that we can do and little like flow updates, flow innovations. Fine. I guess I'll use the same word. That we can do, I think, to make things more and more interesting given our current situation. Remains to be seen if anything is going to change. As someone who is involved with the WCA, change does happen, but it can take time just because it is the World Cube Association, right? Like we got a lot of stuff to do.
Do you get, here's a question now, just in terms of you compromising, coordinating with the organizers, at what stage generally does Speedcubing TV get involved, or any of the live streams that you've been involved with? Are any of them involved at the planning stage? Are any of them involved in putting the schedule together?
Yeah. So I'll talk about my stuff. Cubers Live, because I run Cubers Live and I'm a delegate in my area. I usually have like firsthand knowledge of like what's going on, and California delegates I think are more active in terms of the organizational process. So I'll reach out usually and be like, this seems like an interesting competition. Is this something that we can live stream? And then from there, I'll work with the organizer to build the schedule, to make sure that we have the right stream people. This is basically what we did for Vegas. And I know all the organizers and stuff like that too. So usually it works out pretty well. For Marinick, it's a little bit different because he is not directly related to the organizational team. So he has to basically check and see if a competition is going to be interesting after it's been announced, after the schedule has been made, and after registration is already like largely filled. So that gives him less time to work with, and a lot of things are already in place. So it's a little bit tougher for him to like move things around. That's why I think I tell people in the West, like, if you want me to live stream your competition, let me know. I will work with you to make sure that like we can get it done in like a smooth manner. So like I can help you assign people to be on the stream. I can tell you like what kind of pacing you should be looking at. I can tell you how to mark the stream competitors so that you bring them onto the stream in a proper way and things like this. So, and I think that's worked well for me. I thought Western Champs 2024 was a good example of that because, I had a good amount of power to be like, okay, well, I need this to happen at this time. And everyone in the West understood, okay, like, yes, this is for the broadcast, so we need to do these things in this way, which is a little bit different than we have been doing.
Yeah, and I think that's possibly key to, like, my position is quite extreme, saying it's unbroadcastable, but what I mean by that is it's just not built with broadcasting in mind. It's built with efficiency of competition in mind. And I feel like having someone in putting the competition together with a broadcasting outcome in the front of their mind as they're planning the competition, that will lead to better broadcast outcomes at the live stream. It's as simple as, when I talk to people about planning these streams, like if I have a plan, I have better broadcast outcomes. I have better videos that I can make out of my live stream. But if I go into a live stream with no plan, it's garbage. I can't produce any videos out of that. There's no, because I haven't thought of the stream as a broadcast outcome.
Yep.
So that's encouraging that.
I'll put in another thing. It's two more things that are encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
One, for World Championships 2025, Kevin Hayes is part of the organizational team. Kevin, also a commentator. He's probably commentated the most competitions, I think, out of anyone in the world.
Oh, wow.
Just because he commentated like Nationals 2017, so like all the way back. So he's part of the organizational team. So that means that there will be a stronger link between organization and broadcast. So that's a good thing. The other thing is the WCA does have some changes. I think you covered this also. There's now a major championship team.
Yeah.
So there's a separate team now that handles major championships because some people were dissatisfied with certain things that they did in Korea. As part of that team, I'm almost positive that there will be someone on that team who's a little bit more broadcast, live stream, marketing oriented to try and figure out, okay, well, here are like the basic requirements. And if you don't have the requirements here, you just cannot hold a major. We just won't allow you to hold a major. So for example, if there's no internet in the venue, then you just can't have the major.
Yeah.
You need to be able to like provide at least this sum of money, let's say, towards broadcasting. And this is like what it's cost in previous things like that. So that's a good sign. I'm hoping that means that the 2026 Continental Championships will be more geared towards that. And we can see just more live streams because look, I think both of us love cubing content, and the cooler we can make some of this stuff, I think it's just better obviously it's better for us, right? Because we just like it.
Yeah.
But I think it's better for the speed cubing as a whole.
Yeah, I think so. All I want is for more people to see cubing, because I think cubing is worth seeing. It's not necessarily in the format that I think is most effective for broadcasting yet, is kind of what I think. So I'm going to have to boost off in about 10 or 15. So I wanted to move the conversation on a bit from broadcasting competitions to just wider conversation about cubing content. Okay. So this is, I suppose, this is your opportunity to shout out any content creators that you're enjoying, and to talk about, I love to talk about the meta, okay? Like the meta.
Oh, I love the meta. I love meta.
So give me your vibe. What are you seeing on YouTube at the moment, and what are you enjoying, and where do you think we're going, and what are we up to? Give us the big vision.
Yeah, so I think cubing content is really diversified now compared to what it was when I started. When I started watching cubing YouTube in 2013, I watched Dan Brown's introduction video, and I watched this guy, Bad Mephisto, who is, if you all know Andre Karpathy, he's like a big AI researcher now. He used to make cubing content videos on YouTube. That's the guy I learned F2L from. But that was it. It was just tutorials, really. There were some videos from JR Cuber, Jesse at the Cubicle, about like hardware. And then there were like a couple other, Red KB was one, Crazy Bad Cuber, of course, me, myself, and Pi. Cubing World was also a channel back then. But they were all like very geared towards like speed cubing. Nowadays, we have like a huge diversity in the types of speed cubing content. We still have our tutorials, right? Someone I'm pretty enjoying right now is Brian Sun. He has like some good, he has some like really interesting things on that end. We have a lot of top solvers who are making their own videos. I was watching Nam's videos last night because I was watching him at Asian Champs. I'm like, his turning is so good. I need to learn how to turn like him.
Sorry, who
so I
was
was watching some of his Sung Hyuk Nam.
Oh yeah, no, I know him.
Yeah, dude, man, that guy's turning is just absurd. It's just incredible. Then we have like more. Then we have like, I guess, kind of like more like journalistic / like information type. So I would say Cubecast is stuff like that, right? Because there's new stuff coming out every week, and you can just see it right here. StuCube is also does stuff like this too. I will say I used to have a huge problem with StuCube's titles. I thought they were like way too vague and way too clickbaity. But I think they've gotten a lot better recently. So good on Stu for that.
So I can talk to that a little bit about StuCube.
Yes.
So he actually hit me up recently.
Okay.
On exactly what you're talking about, and he was like,
okay,
bro, I love your content, but I need to talk to you about your titles. And I was like, okay,
oh yeah,
I'm all ears, Stu. Let me hear it. So me and him are both like big fans of Moist Critical Charlie.
Yep.
We both admire what he has done and what he has built, and honestly, my channel is a cubing version of that. Like that is I looked at his channel and was like, okay, I see what he's doing there. I see the shape of his content just in how he produces it. And I was like, I think I could maybe do that. And here we are. And Stu was just like, you need to lean into that more. And I was like, all right. Okay, I hear you, Stu. I hear you. And I'm not going to lie, it has worked really well. So I'm probably going to keep doing it. I've also been doing the more Pegasus style thumbnails recently. The only thing I can tell you is it's working, so I'm probably gonna keep doing it. So
yeah, I mean, I figured that's why Stu was doing it in the first place, right? It's like, well, clearly, like it's just the game, right? It's just
literally the game. Like if you make sure that you're still searchable for what you're talking about in your description and your tags, then people can still find it if that's what they're looking for. But unfortunately, YouTube is a game. It's just a game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. Carry on. You got to StuCube. Shout out.
So Stu, of course I watch Speedcubing TV as being involved with them as well. And of course that's like live stream stuff. I'll shout out myself too. Cubers Live, I make highlight videos from time to time at major championships, the things that get live streamed basically. So I recently dropped one for Asian championships, had one for NAC and stuff like that. Those are always fun. Those are good for people who are like, I don't want to watch the whole broadcast. I don't want to watch a 20-minute video. I want an 8-minute video. Tell me the most important things that happened. So I think overall, and of course we have like Speedkey Shop and SCS who are like, they're just like marketing, right? And even like Chi is getting into the game now. Chi's marketing, I have to say, is like pretty top notch right now. Like, of course, like, they have their puzzles or whatever, but the fact that like, I know when a Chi puzzle is coming out, I know that the Spark V2 is coming out, and I am the world's biggest 7x7 hater. Like, the fact that I know that it's happening is like, okay, like clearly they're doing something right there. I think GAN is involved now too. GAN, like they upload stuff to like GAN Cube Station, which I don't know how they managed to do that from inside China. I thought YouTube was blocked, so
yeah,
I guess they have some way.
Yeah, that's Teacher Xia, right? Is that what?
Okay.
He's renamed his channel.
Has he?
To
Okay.
GAN Cube Station, as far as I can tell. And he's putting out like daily content, I think daily videos. Teachers, yeah.
Really?
Where is he now? He's been
I'm out of-
putting out so much on that GAN Cube station. Hold on a minute now. Oh, I can't spell anything. GAN Cube station, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Let me go to my subscription.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like here's this video about Worlds 25 in the States.
Yeah, if you look on his channel, you'll see that he's been pumping out videos. And I don't I'm not sure if he's what his association with GAN actually is. But he's certainly using the name and it's working. Here he is. Yeah, GAN Cube Station. Oh no, that's him on an actual GAN video. Interesting. So he's getting around, he's putting out a load of stuff. It's Chinese language, but that's fine because subtitles exist. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so carry on. Yes, there's the companies are actually doing their own things as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like we have a very diverse there's a very diverse space of and of course there's a lot of like casual cuber stuff too. I must say, at first I didn't really like the Z3 cubing videos, but I've actually grown to enjoy them quite a lot because they show you kind of what like casual cubing is all about. And at the end of the day, I think probably the majority of cubers are probably just casuals who just like making patterns or like collecting, right?
Z3, I'm gonna shout out Z3 cubing, and I'm gonna shout out a particular video of his because I remember Charlie was watching. So listen, our kids don't come at me for having iPad kids, all right? But they have iPads, and sometimes we do let them watch YouTube. And he was watching YouTube Kids, and this Z3 cubing video came up when he's like picking up every cube off his shelf, and it keeps blowing up. He just picks every single one. He's taking the screws out of, and it blows up. And he's like, Dad, look, look at this guy. And I was like, oh, sweet, that's Z3. And I was like, oh, he's got stuff on kids. So what I would say, I think Z3 knows the bigger picture game as well. Geez, he's gonna hit 1 million soon, 916K. So he's still putting cubes out. Those Lego cube videos go hard. He still does he still does traditional cube reviews.
He's been putting out the shorts recently too. And the shorts, like, look, cause like I'm just going around on my shorts, like bored at work or whatever, and I'll see a cubing thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Like cubing is on shorts now too.
Yeah. There's a lot on shorts. There's a lot of random cubing on TikTok as well, which I don't fully understand, but. He's got some bangers that have gone up. 27 million views on the VCube 8. You know what I mean? Like, cube and a cube and a cube and a 21 or whatever. He knows what he's doing, and he's always, I think, he's kind of the last bastion of those real casual cubing challenge videos, like, you know, making the heaviest, making the lightest, you know? That was a real thing about 2018. And he's stuck to his guns, and I kind of appreciate that.
No, totally. I mean, it also just works, right? Like, there's always going to be people like that, who just enjoy cubing not for the competitive aspect, but just for like kind of like the chill, semi-meditative hobby that it is, right? It's like, oh, I just like listening. I'm sure there's like probably a cubing ASMR channel out there, and if there isn't, this is your opportunity, people in the comments.
Yeah,
you guys can go.
Where are you? Let's just have an hour of cubing ASMR. No talking, just cubing.
Actually, I'm gonna steal this idea. Like, maybe I'll just start the ASMR channel instead.
Manu is retracting immediately the offer for you to take that idea.
Yeah, I'm actually like sending it to the patent office. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm trademarking it and everything. So sorry.
So the reason I bring up is because we are doing essentially, we're trying to make more fan-made content, because that is also a valid method of having our little world discovered, right? It's just having more volume of content. And sometimes I so you must have seen the shorts with any kid who gets a mosaic set and then starts making flags or whatever, and it's very formulaic, and they go, oh, nearly made the flag. Oh, this one's wrong. Oh, I guess I'll write on it with a pen. No. I'll wipe it off and I'll solve the thing and put it in there. Yeah. There you go. 10 million views. And it's like, I hate that. Genuinely. But I also love that, because it's putting Rubik's Cubes in front of millions of people. I can't deny that it's working. And these little punks are racking up like 1 million subs before you know what's happening. It's all
Yeah.
happening on these shorts with their mosaic set. Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah. No, it definitely is like hats off to them because like, dude, there's this guy in SoCal. He's a kid. His name is Emil. He's Little Lime Cuber on YouTube, right? Every time like we introduce this guy, we're like, oh yeah, well I think he has like 10 million views overall on his channel. And it's just all from shorts. His most viewed short is just him getting, I think, a cube that wasn't scrambled. And he like sits down, he's ready to solve it, and he's like, guys, this isn't scrambled.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's his clock. Is
it was the clock. Okay.
It's got 68 million views.
Yeah, like what? Like that's just insane. Just insane. So
and you know what? I will shout him and the Mosaic kids out as well, because it's like, actually you are doing the frontline work of being people's first contact point with cubes.
True.
Nobody's stumbling upon one of my videos and being like, what is cubing? Like you have to know a little bit about cubing to understand what on earth I'm yapping about. So they are putting out that frontline content. 68 million views.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. But yeah, all that to say, I think cubing content creation has never been like more interesting. I think we got more. Oh, I forgot to mention 2 other things. We have a lot of vlog content still, which is fantastic. I love seeing vlog content. Man, dude, the Chris Mills vlog at SSL. What a video, dude.
It popped
What a
off,
video.
didn't it? Yeah. That was crazy.
That was awesome.
That
was awesome.
Sometimes vlogs will die. It's just like, it's an awful lot of work for 200 views. But that one went off. And I think it's because of who he is, because of how he understands cubing content as well, about how he presented it, and all the people who were in it as well. Like, he was surrounded by cubing superstars. So it was a perfect storm of content, you know, and really good. I watch it just for the Bofang stuff.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm a huge Bofun fan now. Like, oh my goodness. Like I'm like rooting for him no matter what now. Like when I saw that he got 3rd at Asian Champs, I'm like, let's go, Bofun.
Yeah, he got on the podium. That was epic. And yeah,
dude,
he's just awesome. This sweet little kid with his little glasses, and I'm like, let's go. This is my boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm good. I need to get a picture with both on at Worlds. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
The other thing I was going to mention was now we have a lot of like Dylan doing his live streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where he'll live stream. I think Brian's son also does like live streams and stuff too. Honestly, even you doing your live streams of like, you know, you're like whatever 15-second clock average or whatever it was today. Even stuff like that I think is like kind of interesting, because post-pandemic during the pandemic and post-pandemic, there was this big thing on Twitch where people would just like do a bunch of solves. That's kind of how Chai became like somebody in cubing. He would just go live on Twitch and he would just do Megaminx, or like just do 3x3. And yeah, so like that's also like a really interesting, it's like more of a chill subset where it's just like, come cube with me today.
Yeah.
And I think all of that is all very interesting and all very diverse.
It's a slightly harder sell these days than it was. You don't get the same audiences on that. Like I get maybe 10 people if I do I've got like a subset of streams that I'll do called on the grind, you know, if I'm just working on something. But yeah, they are fun, and if they're presented in the right way, they're really engaging. Because sometimes people just do it and they don't talk, and it's like, come on now, you need to give us something.
No.
But Dylan, oh yeah, big shout out to Dylan, because his streams are fun. He's like edgy, like, but not in a completely dangerous way. But he's not afraid to talk about stuff, and he's not afraid to just chat nonsense. And he'll do a little bit sometimes of. He's done stuff that looks a bit like my streams as well, which is great, where he'll like react to something, or he'll talk to a document, or he'll talk about an announcement. And Stu did this as well when they talked about like the sliding announcement. They would talk about that, and then they would just start cubing and talking about it, which I think is a really cool format of cubing as well. Like people, if you're live streaming, you're giving people essentially the chance to hang out with you in a parasocial kind of way. Like that's basically what it is. It's human connection. That's all you're selling.
Yep, totally.
I suppose, like I've seen in terms of podcasting on in speedcubing, I've sort of been through a few iterations of cubing podcasts, and they used to be quite formulaic and, if I may, just a bit boring. Like they were just this. It was the same thing. You know, people would set up a podcast and then they'd line up 10 top tier cubers to interview. And they'd be like, "How did you start cubing?" "Oh, well, I started cubing here." "Well, then what did you learn?" "And then this is what I learned." And it was just like, that was it. And I was just like, oh, I can't relate to these people. This is boring. It didn't work for me. And I think I've not been intentional. Well, I've been intentional in not doing that format, but by making a different format, I think I've been inadvertently, I've just avoided even teeing up. Like, apart from Dylan, who's been on the stream, and Chris, I suppose, to an extent, he's all right. Like, you know what I mean? But I haven't had them on stream to talk about cubing. I've had them on to talk about cubes.
Yeah.
And I've had them on to talk about the idea of pro leagues and to run down GAN SSL and stuff and talk about competitions. But yeah, I've tried to make something that's just a little bit more, like I say, I've completely stolen Moist Critical's channel and made it about
It's really interesting that you mentioned the podcast stuff, because another shameless self-promotion. Cubers Live has a podcast called Overinspected.
I saw.
We joke that it's the greatest speedcubing podcast in the world because it was the only speedcubing podcast at the time.
Yeah.
But this is actually something very, very specific that we did not want to do, is just flood it with guest episodes, because we wanted it to be like you would listen to Overinspected to just hear me, Chai, and Carrie just talk.
Yeah.
And we would talk about whatever was interesting in cubing to us at the time. Sometimes it was news. Most of the time it wasn't news, because usually I would record them and then I would edit them and publish them like a month later. So news didn't really make sense for that format. But it was just like random stuff. We talked about like age in cubing. We talked about like whether or not all the world records are going to be dead. We talked about what a pro league might look like. And then we also just have fun episodes. I think we like ranked all the starter Pokemon or something in one of the podcast episodes. But no, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts I think that are interesting, but then go stale after some time. One that I've been enjoying recently, if I can shout them out, I don't think they're on YouTube, but this cubing mom from Vancouver, British Columbia, I think she runs a podcast, and oh man, I am completely blanking on the name. I just don't know what the name is.
Have you got it on your phone? Have you got your phone there? Are you subscribed to it or anything?
Yeah. I can pull it up because I'm pretty sure I follow her on Instagram. But all that to say is that is a really good one for any parents who are interested, because it's from a cubing mom's perspective. So she's like maybe like cubes like a little bit, but primarily she's there to support her kids. And I thought that was really interesting from seeing that kind of perspective, because obviously since so many cubers are young, they're supported by like their parents and stuff, right? So I thought that was like really interesting to like hear that kind of perspective.
Yeah, that's a super interesting angle, because like, even though I'm like a dad who cubes, but I'm not a cubing dad because my kids don't cube. So but I'm obviously like, I talk to parents a lot of specifically around competitions and around the cube club that I run and things like that. So that is an interesting angle. I love that. If you can't find it today, you'll need to let me know and I can post about it, because I'll have to follow that and give it a listen.
Yeah, no, totally. I think there's a bunch of interesting stuff on there. And that's something that we heard too, even when we ran Overinspected. I literally got a comment from someone who recognized me in person at a competition, and she said, I really enjoyed you guys making Overinspected because it gave me an opportunity to understand what was going on in my son's world. And then I could understand and connect with him a lot more on this. And then when I go to a competition, like instead of just doing nothing or just like reading a book or doing work, I can listen to this podcast while I'm in a competition and understand what's going on around me. And then I can ask him about it. Like, oh, what do you think about like whatever thing that happened? Max Park got a world record. What did you think about Max Park's world record? It seems really cool. And like, she was like, it literally facilitated conversation. I'm like, that's crazy. That is a lot of praise. That was not what we originally designed this for. But if that's what you're getting out of it, I'm like all for it. And that's just awesome.
It's amazing, man, how much effect that stuff has. Because like I say, we are in broadcasting, you're literally selling human connection. Like it was the same thing when I was on radio. Yeah. I'd have people coming up to me and just be like, oh, I listen to you all the time. It's like, I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry. What's your name? Who are you? What's going on here? Like it happens. And you don't know. You don't know the effect you have really beyond the shape of the content. You know, It's our job to focus on the things that we say and the stuff that we put out, and it's up to individuals listening to it to absorb it. So I listened to a podcast. This is not cubing related, but there's a podcast I love, which is just wrapped. Unfortunately, it's just wrapped up. It was called Sitcom D&D. It was like it was a real play D&D, but it was like episodic, and it was so funny and so sweet, and I loved it. I listened to it religiously for like 3 years, and they finally just called an end to it. They were just like, we can't do it anymore. And the sadness I felt, I was just like, and it made me think, because I was just like, I think I made a comment on one of their Instagram posts. I was just like, look, thank you so much. I'm devastated. I get it. But thank you so much for the last few years. They've never heard from me before. They'll never hear from me again.
Yeah.
But it's just like, they're the real gold nuggets of things that are happening anyway when you're doing stuff.
No,
like
totally. And there's loads of cubing content out there like this. And yeah, that's one thing that makes me really happy about like cubing as a whole. Also, because we have such a wholesome community. There's so much to like that I've gotten from cubing, and there's so much that I want to give back to cubing. And yeah, it's just a great avenue to do that, despite all the slop or whatever, right? I'm sure like someone like watches the slop and it's like, I love listening to this because I get to learn more about like this hobby that I'm like interested in, right? Or something that I would be interested in.
Yeah, we're deep in the slop game, and I'm okay with it. I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. Hey, I'm gonna have to. I could yap to you all day, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up because I've got
No, totally.
Kids off.
I talk too long, so that's also my bad.
No, it's fine. It's probably gonna be a record long episode of +3 that I'm on as well, because we were just yapping, giving it the big yaps.
Yeah, perhaps. Hey, it's a good thing though. It was fun.
Manu, thank you so much for joining me today. I am gonna. This happens every time, but I'm gonna unceremoniously hang up on you now.
Oh, great.
And that's gonna be that. So this is your last opportunity to say anything to the Cubecast crew if you want to.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. First of all, hope you all are enjoying speedcubing. If you want to follow me in particular, you can follow my YouTube channel at PhiKid0. PHIKID0. Follow Cubers Live. Cubers Live is like the main account that I do like actual stuff on. I also run the West Coast Cubing account. We do YouTube videos on there too. I got a cool interview with Maddie on there if you want to watch that. We have Speedcubing TV. So I'm not directly involved with it, but I am on that +3 show. So if you want to check that out, there's loads of live streams on there as well. And yeah, we used to have a joke in Overinspected where at the end we would like, at some point, Chai, we would never know when the recording stopped because I would stop the recording. And Chai's like, is the recording still going? I don't want to say something and be cut off. And then one of the episodes, I think one of the season finales, I finally cut him off. So I guess that's what's going to happen to me here.
Yeah. That's how we're doing it. That's how it's happening.
It's karma.
Manu, thank you so much. I will talk to you in the chat in a minute and it'll be all good. Oh, how have I... OBS has betrayed me again, but that's what happens. All right. There we go, everyone. That was our man. That was Manu joining us today to yap about all sorts of things, pro cubing and the other what else did we talk about? Content. That was it. That's what else we talked about as well. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go because I gotta go and look after my family. You know, that's I gotta go dad life. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. One last shout out to our sponsors. Don't forget to use code Cubecast and save 5% at Speedcube Shop. Do the same at Cubing Life Academy and this place as well, where I sell all my stuff. That's right, Speedcube NZ, speedcube.nz. You can buy cube sauce there. It's my lube that I make. It's real good. It's real good. It makes your cubes go brrr, just like that. Appreciate you, everyone. Shut up, ad music. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna play the sting real quick.
Say the line, Bart.
Use code Cubecast. Yeah! Just because I haven't played it in a while and I miss it. All right, I'm gonna go, everyone. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back on next week. It's gonna be Wednesday my time, which in the US and the UK is gonna be Tuesday. It'll be the same time of day, but it'll be on a different day of the week. And that's that. All right, I'm gonna go now. Goodbye.